Hey there, folks. Today I've decided I'm going to talk about where I came from. I am from 135 Belmont Street in Summerside, Prince Edward Island, Canada. Now, this is an absurd origin because, I come from the smallest province, only about 180,000 people, out of the, 38 million Canadians. And I come from what is the second largest population center on that island, Summerside. I like to say, even though it only confuses people, I like to say that I didn't grow up in the middle of nowhere. I grew up in the place where people who do live in the middle of nowhere are talking about when they say they're going into town. Possibly, if you were from a small town, you understand that. If not, just ignore it. And the neighborhood I grew up in, Belmont Street, and surrounding environs, the street, Belmont Street, was very, very nice. There's a lot of old Victorian homes and tons of green, and pretty much everything about it says fancy real estate, or at least the Prince Edward Island version of it. Except reverse gentrification happens over time, and the fancy homes get replaced by less fancy homes. And so it was actually really kind of a patchwork. Like, you've got a really nice Victorian home next to an apartment building that basically looks like it was put together out of stucco and Lego and some sticks. I don't know. So that's the kind of neighborhood I grew up in. And the house I grew up in at 135 Belmont Street, no longer in the family. Anyway, we were surrounded at all sides by working class families, even though we quite solidly middle class ourselves. Both my parents were professionals, mom teacher, my dad's civil servant. But we had Harley on one side of us, and the Vautours across the street, and their ever-changing roster of residents. I guess that's what happens when it's the house of the matriarch and patriarch. They take in whatever loose family members need a place to stay, So, never knew who was going to be over there, except for matriarch and patriarch. Anyhow, and on the other side of us was an eternally for rental home that also shuffled through residents fairly fast. But my point is, I do have one, is that we were a middle-class family in the middle of working-class families, and this had absolutely no bearing on our lives. My family has many problems, but being bourgeoisie is not one of them. We never considered ourselves superior to our neighbors at all, ever. We were quite friendly with the neighbors. I never even really thought about the fact that there was, that I was living in a house with 6 bedrooms in it, and to some people that might sound rather fancy. To me, it was just home. Anyhow, and the thing is, the culture where I come from, and this is extremely key, it has a very, very strong element of reverse snobbery. You do not act like you are better than others. Don't do it. any kind of hint that you are putting yourself above others, and you will be socially isolated. You will be living in an ice-cold town. And my people, the Acadians, we're gregarious. So when we shut down on people, they can really feel it, And no one will confront you over it. They just won't have anything to do with you if they can avoid it. There was a family in my neighborhood. I shit you not. It was Dr. Beer. That's literally his name, Beer and everything. And his wife, Mrs. Beer, she had this idea that because she was a doctor's wife, she was better than everybody. And nobody had anything to do with her if they could avoid it. I'm sure nobody, went up to her and said, "We don't like you." But it was pretty clear. So yeah, I mean, we were never gonna be that kind of middle class family. We're never gonna be like keeping up with the Joneses or thinking that there's some kind of wall between us and our neighbors. We're all just residents of Belmont Street. So that's a little look into where I come from, my, I guess, geographical origins. I come from an obscure town in a little-known province that is inherently absurd by its very existence. And from a country, Canada, which is sort of kind of a joke on the international stage. I mean, everyone likes us. But respect-wise, we're kind of a middle power. And yeah, I feel like my life just was inherently absurd right from the beginning. And that's just the geography. I guess that's all from me for tonight, folks. I will talk to you nice people again tomorrow. Bye-bye.